Yeah, Dr. Kumalo Nabatla Lamo Abuaka Dabi. I'll tell you what, the news I'm about to deliver could dampen his mood even further when I tell him that Brendan Peterson, the skipper out at Kaizer Chiefs, has been obviously out. He missed the Soweto derby and he's going to be sidelined for about 2 to 3 weeks. That means potentially missing around 3 or 4 games leading up to the FIFA international break, but speedy recovery there to the Kaizer Chiefs captain Brendan Peterson. Let's move on now to our next story. It's a big one. It's Samir Nukovic still chasing his 15 million rand payout from Royal AM. But you're wondering, why am I bringing this up? Royal AM do not exist anymore. But Samir Nukovic, submissions that we've seen from his attorneys are going for SAFA and the PSL. He is blaming the two organizations for standing in the way and not enforcing FIFA decisions and rulings that he must be paid by Royal AM before they ceased to exist. This is a developing story. If you want more on that, follow sabcsport.com and you will see the latest developments there. Let's bring it back to Masanda Wana in Klorkop. Miguel Cardoso. I asked him yesterday after they beat Sikukune how he feels about Hlopi Motsepe, the chairman of Mamelodi Sundowns' public endorsement, given that the fans were baying for his blood.
We are aligned, it's clear. We are aligned inside the club. The chairman is not only a fantastic human being, but also a very intelligent person that can understand football, and is also a person that speaks a lot with me, a lot with everybody in the club. So we have a vision together with the sports direction that is very clear on how we go forward. And it's from the fact that we communicate properly that we understand the moments we live together. Most important is always that the work of who is in the club is supported, because there's no one else to solve the problems than the ones that are here.
While there's an alignment at Klorkop, I'll tell you there isn't one at Marumo Gallants, the club coming out earlier today that coach Alexandra Lafite put on ice allegedly for insubordination and a few other disciplinary concerns there. And thereby the coach is not going to be in charge in the upcoming games. They are going to then bring in an interim coach or someone who will take over permanently. The Husk, I'm going to bring this to you. We are told John Maduka, one of the candidates to potentially take over for the rest of the season. Good decision to freeze the coach, so to speak.
It's a very interesting one and a difficult one because, I mean, this is the one coach we were raving about at the start of the season and how well he was doing with Marumo Gallants, even got them to a cup final. But the problem is they lost that cup final, and including the cup final, have lost 7 in a row. So they've lost every game since the return. And so it's a tough one. So from the management perspective, the results haven't been good enough, but they also lost key players in the break, Chavetsana and Sendami, 2 Pirates. Did they replace them with adequate replacements? You know, can you fault the coach? It's a tough one, but that's the nature of the game. If you're not producing the results, unfortunately, this is bound to happen.
Yeah, no, let's move on from now. I was going to come to Dr. Kumalo, but I'll leave it for him to dissect it a little bit later. I want to move on to the next story now, which concerns SAFA and a landmark sponsorship or partnership with Standard Bank. And I'll let SAFA CEO Lydia Munyepao explain what this entails.
For us, it's such a relief, you know, to have Standard Bank coming on board. And unlike previous sponsors, you know, that look to focus on strictly Banyana or strictly Bafana, they want the whole, you know, the whole products, you know. And for us, it's really critical because it means that now we can prepare our junior national teams for continental tournaments, for global tournaments as well.
To take on a sponsorship of this nature and this kind of value is a long, long road. You know, it takes time to make sure that the organization is aligned to the sports, over all the other sports that are available out there. So it's not something that came about opportunistically. Of course, Bafana qualifying for the World Cup is really important. And of course, Banyana qualifying for WAFCON and performing at the highest levels is also important.
Yeah, there will be more announcements from SAFA as well as we build up to the FIFA World Cup in a couple of months. Good times for South African football, Andile.